Yes, Casanovians. Got the black blazer and shorts. Because that seems to just be how we roll these days. Right, I'm gonna share what I'm calling an Epiphanova. Right, so this is like realizations that I have spending time in the trenches, which I then relay back to you. So an Epiphanova, it's basically like a supernova and an epiphany mashed together. So it's like a star has exploded in my mind, like this star of thought, and then I'm gonna drip feed these epiphanovas onto you, and therefore you're gonna be a happier, wiser, more successful human being, especially when it comes to women and relationships. So I want to tell you a little story about last night and what last night taught me about women, about the world, and about intersexual dynamics. So yeah, hopefully you get a lot of value from this. I've got a message as well that I'm gonna relay to you. So someone, one of the Casanovians sent me through a message on Instagram. So I said to people, like, if you send me messages on Instagram at Kristian Magician, then I'm more than happy to provide you with an individually tailored response, and just give you as much value as possible, really. So the guy in question, he got in contact. He said, "Hey, bro, I appreciate you big time. You're doing so much for the boys. I have a question/concern. It's more regarding about internal game. I can get attention and even interest from women, but something in me is wounded, very defensive. When I know it's on, I just shut off or make it awkward. There's also a certain pride in there." Years ago, it was natural to connect and make things happen with girls that liked me and I liked them. But now it's on my side that I am blocked. Appreciate you, brother. So, really, what we're speaking about today is inner game. Excuse me, inner game, that internal struggle, overcoming that perceived lack of self worth, and also not being scared by your own success. I think that's the interesting thing, which I pinpointed from this question. He says that he feels as though something inside of him is wounded and gets very defensive. And when he knows it's on, I just shut off or make it awkward. So, like, for him, I did respond actually in private with a voice message, but I said to him, what are you scared of happening if you succeed? Yeah, like when you get that impression from a girl that it's on. This is actually a struggle I find with good looking guys. So guys who maybe make money from their physical appearance, guys who are male models, or even, let's say, high value guys who've built a lot of materialistic success. The higher you climb, the further you can fall, or that's the perception anyway. And what I found to be true is guys are petrified of losing, right? Rather than playing the game, being excited to win, they're scared of missing. So I said to this guy, what are you scared of happening if you succeed? Yeah, because I think it's easy to fall into the trap. And I've done it as well. Like, the more fuckable I became, the more perceived loss I started to interpret. I was like, oh, I'm starting to get more attention from girls. I'm starting, every time I leave the house, I'm getting those indicators of interest. Like, girls are nudging their friends, giving me a double look, whatever it is. Girls following me around the gym. But there was almost a part of me that was scared to act on these invitations because I didn't want to pop. I didn't want to pop the illusion. I didn't want to pop the fantasy. Does that make sense? Because it can feel quite nice, right? If you're going out there, you're getting that perceived validation from girls, validation which maybe you didn't receive growing up. And it almost made me like more scared of losing, if that makes sense. But there was a point in his message where he said years ago he found it easy, right? Years ago he found it easy to act on opportunities, to act on invitations. And it was the same for me as well. Like, when I looked like a turnip when I was like 18, 19 years old at university, I found it much easier to act on impulse because I was playing the game like I didn't have anything to lose. So this is, first of all, a precaution from me to you that the more materialistic, sorry, it's getting a little bit sunny. The more materialistic trophies you acquire, the more fuckable you become. Don't lose touch with that fearless warrior inside of you. Like, don't lose touch with that person who is excited to win, like more excited to win than he's scared to lose. So yeah, like whenever you are faced with this doubt, just ask yourself, like, what am I scared of happening if I succeed? What am I scared of happening if I quote unquote fail? But I found that to be true. With guys, my typical client is a high achieving, busy city worker. I work with, on paper, very successful guys, good looking guys. And with those guys, I always find there's more of a fear. There's more of a fear inside of there to lose. Yeah, maybe, they're scared of being like publicly humiliated, or they're scared that, I don't know, I feel as though like when we do become more fuckable, for me anyway, there was a long part of my journey where I still felt like the ugly duckling inside. Like I might have appeared different on the outside, but it was like my internal hadn't yet caught up with my external, if that makes sense. So like, it's just an interesting understanding. But really, what last night taught me, just for a little bit of context, we were filming all day, me, George, and Mark. So we were filming all day, just making crazy like social freedom videos. Just really like, I've not laughed that much in a long time. Like it was just, the day just like flew by, right? Like one minute I was like waking up in the morning, next thing the day had finished. But like from start to finish, it was just like, I think yesterday was like one of my favorite days ever, just because of the people that I was with, the experiences that we were having, the content that we were making. It was just like non-stop belly laughing, right? So like me and George were just doing just ludicrous antics out in public, just really, like I always say to you, treat the world like your personal playground, right? Like reconnect with that child inside of us. Game is not so much a process of learning anything new, but relearning that which we already know. Yeah, stripping back those layers of social conditioning so we can reconnect with our most authentic selves. Like Pablo Picasso said, it took him 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child. And I do think this process that we're all on, there's something beautiful in returning back to source, returning back to origin, right? Almost just having like that playground spirit. And yeah, yesterday just really elucidated that to me. So we were just having like non-stop fun all day, and then the daytime rolled into nighttime, and then we were in this Weatherspoons, and we basically just getting each other to these like ludicrous social freedom challenges. I had to go over to a bald guy and ask to kiss his head. And then George had to pull up a chair with this couple who were on a date and just like sit there, not say anything, just like sit there and see how long he could marinate in the moment for. And we were speaking to a lot of people, having a lot of interactions with different guys, different girls, just like, really ricocheting between person and person. But in between all the antics, myself and George, we were having these discussions. Obviously, George is in a relationship now, and he first came to work with me like almost like two and a bit years ago, and like his transformation has been exponential, right? Like the person when we first met for that first session in London to where he's at now, I'm like, bro, I just felt like I don't know, just like a proud father. I get that feeling whenever I meet my clients, and like, my clients become my friends. Do you know what I mean? Like George is one of my best friends. Like I would do anything for him. And just that transition period where a client becomes my friend, and then I'm watching their journey progress. I'm watching them develop as a human being, and like the conversations that we have now. The main thing, right? The main thing from our conversation, which George helped me to realize yesterday, was it's all about mindset. That's it. Like it's all about mindset. It's all about the way that you think about yourself. Who was it? Was it Descartes who said, "I think, therefore I am"? I think, therefore I am. And I've always translated that as perception is reality. Yeah, the thoughts that I have dictate my reality. Like internal state equals external reality. But I think so many people, and I've been guilty of this as well. I'm not trying to present myself as this paragon of perfection. I think so many people in this space, let's say like the red pill, manospheric, just dating space, whatever you want to call it. I think so many people are just getting it wrong. I think so many people are focusing on the wrong things, right? It's just like adding more, like, right, you need to go to the gym, you need to get a supercar, you need to learn how to fight, you need to learn several languages, you need to, get 10% body fat, whatever, right? Well, all these things, and I'm not saying don't do these things. It's great to have goals. It's fun, right? It's fun to to have an obsession with progression, right? It's nice to have these things, but when we boil it all down, and this was really demonstrated to me yesterday with this playful energy that we had, it's all about the internal, right? I heard Owen Cook, yeah, Owen Cook. He was saying, I watched this video of his recently, and he was talking about this idea of becoming a 10 in your own frame, right? Like becoming a 10 in your own frame. So rather than competing with the world, it's like you're so deep in your own sense of self-adoration that you don't need anything from the world. You don't need external validation. They're just people, they're just girls. They're like, one of my mindsets is solipsism. Like, I believe that everyone else in the world is an NPC. Like, I don't know what it's like to be anybody else. I'm only conscious of my own consciousness. But like, imagine you step into a gym, or imagine you step into a bar. Something that I used to do all of the time, and I can still be guilty of it from time to time, is like stepping in the room and thinking everyone else is better than me. Yeah, maybe you walk into the gym and you think, oh, everyone else in here is bigger than me. Or you walk into a bar and you think everyone else in here is better looking than me, or more successful, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. But becoming a 10 in your own frame it's this concept of just having unapologetic self-adoration, yeah, irrational faith in your own ability, like really being your greatest lover, like being your biggest cheerleader, being your best friend, yeah, just being a radical supporter of yourself. And like that's all it is. And I'm not saying like, oh, just like slack off, get overweight, become unemployed, don't pursue anything. Like, that's not what I'm saying. And hopefully the educated people amongst you can understand the nuance. But it's not about how much you're benching. It's not about how much more weight you add into your weighted pull-up. It's not about getting to 10% body fat, or having the penthouse, having the supercar, having the Rolex. Acquire these things if they make you happy. Yeah, like training at the gym, sprinting, going for walks. I enjoy doing these things, but I understand that to a large extent, girls don't actually give a fuck. They don't really give a fuck about all these things that they're acquiring. Ultimately, they just care that you're a guy who they can have fun with and isn't going to sink into someone else's frame just to receive validation from that person. Yeah, something that I used to struggle with. And I would say to an extent, I'm still working through it. Like, again, I'm not perfect, but every time you meet a new girl, for me, there always used to be this fear and expectation that every new girl that I met, it was like a new challenge that I had to almost like revalidate myself in the eyes of every new woman. And this just castrated me of my confidence. And it's a ludicrous act, right? It's ludicrous. Like, if you imagine that there's like 100 girls in front of me, maybe like speed dating, it's like, rather than operating from a place of wholeness, I would be operating from a place of lack, thinking, I need you to validate me. So I'm just going to keep kissing your ass until you tell me that I'm good enough, right? I'm going to try and say the things that I think are going to make you like me, right? That's why compliments are usually complete bullshit, right? Like, most times girls know that your compliment's not genuine because you're not saying the thing because you necessarily mean it. It's like, I'm going to say this thing in the hopes that you like me, right? But a true compliment comes from this place of wholeness where your energy is so electric. You already feel so good in yourself. It's like, imagine you have like a cup of water. That cup is so full that all you want to do is give water to other people, right? You just want to give. Yeah, and like, that's the energy that allows you to win. And that's what I understood last night, because, and I'll try and give you like an actual practical framework, because I've been having fun all day, right? Because I've been spending time with my best friend, because I've been #living my purpose, like creating my content, right? Because I was so full in my own frame, I was so full in my own energy, the women that we met, it was just a bonus, right? It was like, my cup was already so full that I didn't need anything off anybody, right? I had myself, right? I had my boys, I had my entourage, I had my network, I had, I have the passion that I'm pursuing. And then like interacting with women felt effortless because I was like, well, I don't need anything from you. You know, I don't need your validation to feel validated. I already feel like a 10 in my own frame. So yeah, it's all about mindset. It really is. Like if you genuinely believe that you are the most fuckable man on the planet, you're not going out for validation, but you're going out for personal enjoyment. You are operating from a place of wholeness rather than from a place of lack. You're living for an audience of one. That's when you win, right? Don't let the brain dead brainwash you into thinking that once you get money, once you get success, once you get the 6-pack or 10%, but like don't allow these people to brainwash you, because you're constantly on this hedonic treadmill and it's always the next thing. So it's not so much, what is it, like perfection is acquired not when there's anything more to add, but when there's nothing else to take away. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. It's just stripping things back. And again, go to the gym, learn to fight, learn languages, but do it because you enjoy it and not just because some bozo on the internet has said this is what's going to help you get girls. Because for the most part, girls don't really give a fuck about, you know, your bank balance or your body or what car you drive in. They just care that you can be spontaneous. They just care that you've got the purchasing power to have fun, right? She's not going to be like, oh, show me your bank balance. If she is, then she's not really the person that you're looking for, I would say. But they just care, I would say, first and foremost, they want to be able to see your proclivity as a protector, right? The guy who has his own boundaries, who's prepared to say no, who's prepared to walk away from any relationships which no longer serve him, who knows who he is, who knows what he will and will not tolerate, and actually has the balls to enforce these boundaries, meaning that if you're on a date with a girl and she does something or says something that you don't agree with, or it disaligns with your worldviews, and if you don't call her out on that, then she will lose all respect for you, right? And when I was with George yesterday, I said to him, bro, like your overall frame, I don't really like to use these terms, but just so we know what we're talking about, I was like, bro, your overall frame has become so bulletproof now. Like he was just chatting whatever he wanted to, like just saying whatever he wanted to the girls, and they were fucking loving it. Like he was just saying whatever came to mind. He wasn't trying to be or pretend anybody that he wasn't. I think this is helped by the fact that he's now in a relationship, right? He's found, I would say, his life partner, which is like, mate, that is, you know, I think when all is said and done and I'm taking my last breaths and I can look back on this world and be like, you know what, mate, I actually did shit. You know, I actually changed people's fucking lives. I created these wonderful, beautiful, fulfilling relationships. Like, you know, if they go on to get married and have children, like, do you know what I mean? That's just like, that's special, man. Like, that's special. But yeah, just watching him, just doing his thing, just interacting with the world from this place of wholeness. And again, all of this has been created through this sense of enjoying ourselves, right? Like if I can give you a practical blueprint, like just have as much fun in life as possible. Like try your best not to take this shit too seriously. Find good like-minded people who you can bounce off, who you can have fun with. Not just guys who also cold approach, but guys who you can also do other stuff with as well. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that guys make when they're trying to find communities or find wings to go out with. It's like you need to actually connect with each other beyond cold approach, right? You need to be able to go to a Weatherspoons and talk about philosophy or football or just anything. It shouldn't just always be cold approach, right? If the only thing that you connect with your so-called friends is cold approach, then it's a dangerous position to be in, because like, are you really friends, or do you just need each other because you're scared of doing this on your own? And for the record, I've always said it, but nobody should be doing this shit on their own. It's almost impossible to do it on your own, right? Like if you're going out there with no feedback, no support, and no emotional safety net, bro, it's just like, it's not good for your mental health. It's just not good. But yeah, look, from what I learned last night, it was almost a reminder, because I feel as though I already knew this stuff, but you can't think your way into understanding, right? You can't. I can say things to you on this live stream and you might nod your head a few times. You might think, oh yeah, that's a good point. You think, oh, that was well articulated, but you won't understand it until you live it, right? So you can't just be a castrated consumer. You can't just be someone who's mindlessly consuming content and not doing anything with it. It's a waste of time. I'm putting this content out there truly, this is me being no bullshit, I'm putting this content out there to find my people, right? I put this content out there for free because I want to reach the people who want to be reached by me, right? I want you to consume so much of my stuff. And then when you're ready to make that decision, you come and work with me, you join my network, and you come and conquer the world with me. It's like I see the YouTube algorithm as God in disguise. I use Cold Approach as the platform to find my people. And when I'm sat in that Weatherspoons with my guys, just, you know, making content together, just doing stupid challenges, like, oh, let's go, go fucking kiss that bald guy. Like, that's what it's all for, right? That's what it's for. It's to have those moments, to have these Epiphanovas, to have these special memories where I'm like, you know, we were just speaking in the group chat just before, and George was just like, yeah, cracking night. We were sharing the videos back and forth, just creating this community. Then the other guys in the group can see it, and I know. I don't know if this has been articulated that well, but I'm putting this content out there to find my people. You know, maybe you're not my person. I don't know. If not, then you can still enjoy getting the value. But yeah, the last night really reminded me that it's all about mindset. It's all about how we perceive ourselves, having this irrational faith in our own ability, and then you know, having that mindset. But then this is like super practical, approaching a lot. Like, you need to, yeah, like, there's no good in just thinking you're the most fuckable man on the planet and then not doing anything with it. Yeah, like, the mindset is only going to get you so far. Like, you need to mix affirmation with action, right? I'm the most fuckable man on the planet. And then you just need to put yourself in there, mate. You just need to get stuck in, right? Like, you just need to, you know, just invite worst case scenario, get rejected, throw you in hell, you'll find a way to enjoy it. Like, there's no shortcut for that. You just need to put yourself into a lot of interactions. You need to spend a lot of time around different women. Approach. It's not me being like, oh, become an approaching machine, but you need real world experience with real world women. You need to be okay with getting rejected, right? Like, you just need to be okay with that. And again, the higher you climb, the further you feel as though you can fall. But like, that's all it is. It's like having that bulletproof and that bulletproof mindset for me is also developed through taking a lot of action, right? If you did, like, just as an example, if you did 1 million cold approaches this year and you actually recorded your conversations, right? You got feedback, you learned from your mistakes, but you just kept putting yourself in there and you were developing this mindset on the side, right? And you were using the action to develop that bulletproof bravado. That action would then feed into your overall mindset. Yeah, that's why I say, like, cold approach, it will change your entire fucking life. It goes deeper than day game. It's not just going out there chatting to girls. It's the person you become through this process, yeah, forging that new identity through the fires of adversity, the emotional resilience that you build. You realize that not every girl's going to be into you. You don't get ruined by the rejections. Like, in the early days, yeah, it sucks. It's an ultimate equalizer though, right? You might think that you're the dog's bollocks and you go out onto the streets and you get 20 blowouts in a row. It's just one of the most humbling experiences. And even when you become more fuckable, it's like the game doesn't change. You're still going to get rejected. You're still going to get a lot of blowouts. I would say I get rejected more than anybody else that I know. Why? Because I put myself into more interactions and more opportunities than anybody else that I know. And like, that is your biggest superpower in this game. It's being more excited to win than you're scared to lose. I can't encapsulate it any better than that. And if you're a guy watching this, maybe you've not done any cold approaches yet, or maybe you've been out the game for a little while and your ego feels fragile, like, bro, you need this, right? You need this process of ego death. It's the best thing that can happen to you. And that's all it is. It's ego death, right? It's like just truly not giving a fuck anymore. It's like, right, okay, when all is said and done, you know, it's like liberated nihilism. Yeah, embracing your own mortality, reminding yourself that one day all of this is just going to be space dust and ashes. There's a really poignant passage from Macbeth, Shakespeare. Life's but a walk in shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Right? That shouldn't demotivate you. For me, that inspires me. Right? It's that poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then he's heard no more. It's like, the hour on the stage. Like that's how short our time on like a relative scale in like the higher cosmos. We have like an hour on the stage of life, and so many of us are sleepwalking through life, feeling sorry for ourselves, blaming external factors why we're failing, the government, our parents, our childhood, the place that we were brought up. It's like the past is the past, right? Things happen, get over it, right? Like in terms of childhood, I didn't have a great one, but who fucking did, right? And what's your other option? You're just gonna cry into your pillow every night or leave comments on YouTube telling me how difficult it is for you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody cares, right? It's taking that radical responsibility, reminding yourself no one's coming to save you, getting off your ass and doing what you know needs to be done, all right? And that mindset that I have is what would my son think of me? Yeah, I don't have a son yet, but when I do have a son, I want to be able to look into his eyes and I want to be able to look at him knowing that I did everything that I wanted to do. Yeah, I have that self-respect and I can teach him the ways, you know? So yeah, just like fucking stop feeling sorry for yourself, right? Like what, you know, like no one cares. Oh, so cold approach is hard. Oh, I have a severe case of approach anxiety. You don't know what it's like to be me, blah, blah, fucking blah. Yeah. And what? Your life doesn't change by complaining, right? So stop wallowing, stop ruminating in your own egoic self-absorption. Just go out, do 5 fucking direct cold approaches. Go tell people they look great and just do it because you want to do it. Go out to give, right? Like nothing's stopping you doing that today. Go out, hi, excuse me, you look amazing, have a good day. Like I'm documenting it all on YouTube as well to show you how simple this can be. Just as you're walking past people, you look great, you look great, you look amazing. Right, it's just such a low barrier to entry, but you're thinking too many steps ahead, right? So mindset is everything. We build that bulletproof mindset by doing difficult things. Yeah, dive bombing into discomfort, doing what terrifies us on a daily basis. So whether that's doing social freedom exercises, maybe it's cold water exposure, jumping out of an aeroplane, or better yet, just going out, putting your balls on the line and doing the thing that you know you need to do, right? Like none of us are getting any fucking younger. All right, like what are you waiting for? Oh, I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting until I move to this bigger city. You don't need to wait till you move to a bigger city. Like I was just in Paphos, 40,000 people, less than that probably. We were out there, we were making shit happen, right? It's just doing the best with what you've got rather than being like, oh, I'm gonna delay it. I'm gonna wait. You know, I need to wait 5 years until I've got more money. I'm gonna wait until I finish this gym routine. You know, I need to get into immaculate elite condition before I approach girls. That never ends, right? That never ends because you're never going to be shredded enough. You're never going to be rich enough. You're never going to be in the perfect location or the perfect place. Like the time is now, right? Just get started. You don't need perfection. Like fuck perfection. Just show up, right? So I don't know. I hope that this has been a useful live stream for you boys. I feel like it's been a good one. I'm not sure. I don't have the live chat on today because most of the comments are just fucking nonsense. So I'm not enabling the live chat for now, but yeah, just really the sentiments that I want you to take away from this video is mindset is everything. Just get stuck in, right? Just get stuck in. We're still early in the year as well, and if you've been watching these live streams and following my content, especially since the start of the year, like you've got everything you need right now. All you need to do is just put this stuff into practice. Yeah, transmute information into implementation and just baby step that shit, you know, one step at a time. Don't be comparing your start to someone else's finish. You know, if you go to an art museum and you're like, oh my god, I could never paint that, it's like, yeah, but you didn't see the years of turmoil that went into creating that masterpiece. So the way you start's not the way you finish, right? But mindset is everything, right? Like if someone brainwashed you into believing that you were God's gift to the world and you actually radiated that, then you know the world would be a lot different. But anyway, I've got a really fun video dropping later on. It's probably going to get dropped about 6 p.m. UK time. So 6 p.m. UK time, I'm going to drop like a really fun video that I hope you boys are going to like. It was a lot of fun to make. But yeah, just some Sunday meditations. I hope you boys have enjoyed this recent Epiphanova. This is me just learning out loud, to be honest. I don't want to present myself as one of these fucking gurus who's like, I've figured it all out. You know, sat in my ivory tower with a cup of peppermint tea being like, losers. It's like, nah, like I'm on this journey and I just want to document and share the Epiphanovas that I have, and hopefully they're useful in your life, whether you're just starting or whether you've been in the game for a long while. You know, if you resonate with me, you like what I do, then it's fucking nice, isn't it? But yeah, I'll put a link below as well if you want to access all my free courses. There's like Most Fuckable Man course and Conversation Killer, which teach you basically how to cold approach from like start to finish. All that shit's down there, so you can access it. It's free. So yeah, hopefully all that shit helps you on your journey. But just remind yourself that it just comes down to you doing the difficult thing, right? Having that bulletproof mindset and forging that identity through the fires of adversity. So yeah, listen, I love yous. I hope you have a fucking great day. I'll speak with yous tomorrow. Stay sexy.